Hi guys, and welcome back to Genshin Impact. We're going to look for Zhongli, even though my voice just did 44 minutes of pure screaming. Is there anything I can do for you two? I'm afraid that Wangshan Funeral Parlor isn't in the best state to receive guests. We've come to see Zhongli. Could you please tell him we're here? Unfortunately, Zhongli isn't here at the moment. Seems he went to Northern Bank. Isn't the Northern Bank belong to the Fatui? Last time we saw Zhongli was before we went to the Golden House. Do you think he doesn't know about the attack on Liwei? Visiting the Fatui at a time like this could only mean more trouble. We better go and make sure that everything is okay. Are you talking to me? Sorry, it's been a while since someone has spoken to me. You literally caught me off guard. I don't really wish to actively socialize with the people here. If you don't have any urgent matters, then you best be on your way. Idle chatter is not part of my duties here. You call this cooperation between harbingers? Cooperation involves communication, you know. Don't take it to heart, child. Besides, aren't you happy that you got to skip the formalities and bring chaos to the land? I'm sure you must have enjoyed that. Oh, it seems that some of your friends have arrived. Hey, it's Zhongli and Child! And you! You're also one of the harbingers! Signora. It's you two. I believe we've met once before, in the City of Bards, was it? I'm glad you still remember my name. All right, I imagine that must have been rather hard to forget watching helplessly as something precious was snatched away from your friend. Still have time to take it back. No, don't let her get to you, Goose. You've yet to gather the powers of all 7 elements. In our last battle at the Golden House was almost more than you could handle. So it might be best to keep things peaceful this time, seeing that 2 of the Harbingers are here. Well, Booze and Goose, this is our first time seeing each other since Liwei was nearly wiped off the map. And this is certainly a bit awkward, wouldn't you say? Paimon knew that we should never have trusted the Fatui Harbinger. Aw, don't say that. Surely I may have misled you, but I never had anything against you personally. Besides, I thought we were getting along quite well together, didn't you? Except for that whole tussle we had at the end. Nothing personal. We just have different views, that's all. Of course, you may very well hold this against me, but that's up to you. The real deceivers here are Signora and Zhongli. Curse them for leading me on. Zhongli tricked you? So, actually, I think... Stop wasting time, child. There'll be plenty of time to chat once I'm through here. You remember the agreement, Morax. Now if you would be so kind, the gnosis, please. Agreement? What in the world are you talking about? The contract is fulfilled. That which thou seekest is now bestowed upon thee. For my promise is solid as stone. How sanctimonious. So Zhongli is actually Rick Flappus. What? So you're the Lord of Geo? No, wait, that's an exciting new twist and all, but why give the gnosis to the Fatui? I do not give it for free. I give it as agreed upon in the contract, for it is merely solely between the Saritsa and I. Why did you feign your death? Yeah, you don't think you went a little too far with the whole fake death thing? Everyone was preparing the ceremony for you when splat! This big dragon falls out of the sky and all of Liwei goes into an uproar. Talk about a disaster. gathering all the forces that have been bubbling behind the scenes, then stirring them together in a pot that was bound to boil over. That's what he wanted to see, am I right? Wait, what? Perhaps it's best that I explain. As you know, I've dwelt upon this world for more than 6,000 years. It is now 3,700 years ago that I found the Leeway together with the Adepti. Even boulders that would withstand whirlpools will erode with the passing of time. I kept convincing myself that cracks had not yet begun to form, and that the end of my time had not yet come. Until one drizzly day, as I was strolling upon the harbor, I heard a merchant tell one of his workers, "You finish your duties, go ahead and call it a day." I stood motionless among the crowd, asking myself, have I already finished my duties? Oh, Zhongli! But as I began to consider relinquishing my divine rule, I soon discovered that many reasons still remained to not hastily depart. Was Leeway, the city I had dwelt in for so long, already prepared to enter its next age? I decided that a test was needed in order to reveal the answer. So I feigned my own death, gathered the captive child, the Adepti, and the Leeway Qixing to play their roles together on the stage that was Leeway. Let me guess, you had another plan in case it all burned down. That's right, which is why I continued to safeguard the Gnosis until now. So you mean that if the chaos ever reached the point of no return, you would simply appear and use your divine powers to bring Leeway back under control? Of course, and it would have been all too easy for him, too. Just as a child quickly matures after losing their parents, so has Leeway matured when faced with the death of its deity. In the end, the resolution of all that has transpired was even more satisfactory than I could have ever hoped for. Take the Adepti, for instance. Owing to their years of seclusion, they were the least informed, and when faced with this crisis, they commendably showed the greatest amount of restraint possible. Not only did they manage to cooperate with the Qixing, but in the end they even made efforts to understand the hearts of the people. For result, to just ignore, the emissary dispatched with the cryo-archon to fulfill her contract. At my request, she kept everything she knew in strict confidence, and this despite the eavesdropping ears of her colleague child. This meant I could remain a Zhongli, even having the chance to fulfill the age-old traditions of Leeway in this mortal form. Thank you for joining me on this journey, traveler. All of those things turned out as I had planned. There's only one thing that I had not anticipated, and that was the conduct of the Leeway Qixing. I had expected them to do no more than the Adepti, come to the defense of Leeway, but when all was said and done, seize the opportunities to plant Leeway's divine protectors, and use the subsequent power vacuum left by my death to quickly gain complete control of Leeway. Huh? That doesn't sound good at all. On the contrary, I think it is excellent. I always feared that it was too soon for them to take over for me, and it was also that which I longed for the most. As such, this is the best parting gift anyone could have ever given this god of old. Hey, what about me? Doesn't anyone feel the least bit of remorse for deceiving me? You practically kept me in the dark. I think that thanks would be more appropriate. You certainly played no small part in all of this, wreaking havoc and turning the city upside down. The Lord of Geo ought to thank you for your performance, if anything. If you hadn't created the pressure of the battle between mortals Adepti and a god, the lump of coal resting in the hands of the Geo Archon Leeway would never have been able to become a dazzling diamond of a city. Huh? Just whose side are you on, mocking me like that? Are you itching for a fight? You're both equally fooled. Be that as it may, you've come out of this as a hero of Leeway. I, on the other hand, will be forever prescribed as the disturber of the peace, no? Well then, with the gnosis in my possession, I have no use for such idle chatter. We should return to Zapoliarny Palace and seek an audience with Her Majesty the Tsaritsa. Come, child. Ugh, fine. I'll meet you there later. I'm not sharing a boat with the likes of you. Humph, do as you wish. Now then, is there anything else you wish to ask me? I'd like to know what the cryo-archon offered you. Right, as Zhongli always told us, a good trade is a fair trade. Paimon has no idea what could be a good trade for a gnosis. Realistically speaking, there is no such thing. Huh? However, I am the god of contracts. For thousands of years, I have made countless contracts. If the deal was no benefit, then I certainly would not be inclined to agree to it. My agreement with the Prior Archon will be the last of my contracts with the GR Archon. My contract to end all contracts. As for the bargaining chip that the Saritsu used to balance the scales, cover that answer for yourself in your future journeys. Leave Northern Bank. Paimon can't absorb so much information at once. So, Zhongli, what sort of contract did you sign with that Cryo Archon? Paimon's so curious. One of the clauses of the contract was not to divulge any of its contents. Ugh, you're so petty. Today is the day of the rite of parting. Although the start of the show is fake, we spent so much time trying to organize it. It would be a shame not to go there now. You know, that god from the ocean couldn't have just shown up out of nowhere. I mean, it's been 2,000 years since the Rex Lapis subdued it. Yeah, and to think that this happened right on the heels of the incident with Rex Lapis, too. Say, do you think the person who assassinated our lord and released that evil god may have been one and the same? Now that you mention it, that's very possible. Yes, it's very possible indeed. I mean, it all fits together. The person must have colluded with the evil god to harm Rex Lapis. Ah, that wicked, black-hearted scoundrel. So, what sort of supernatural prowess must this person possess to be able to do such things? I've never heard of such a person in all my years. Ah, forget it. Guessing it's no use to us. Look, the Moonloth over there looks like he's about to make an announcement. Let's hear what the Ministry of Civil Affairs has to say first. Well, since we're going through with the rite of parting, I guess it means that those rumors hit the nail on the head. Rex Lapis is really, but they didn't catch the culprit, did they? Oh, come on. Do you think that the assassin would have been a normal person? You know what I think? I don't think any of the gossip on the streets you hear from those shady types is worth anything. There's only one real possibility in my mind. I've heard that the assassin was the Fatui fellow. Youngish, pretty high in rank. I think they called him Child. Fatui? You certainly are very suspicious. Who knows what those greedy, crooked folks? Shh! Lower your voice! If Fatui catch you in their sights, Rex Lapis won't be around to protect you this time. Hear ye all the Qixing's words. Though a dragon soars ageless as the mountains, it too must return to dust. This is common knowledge. Gods and Adepti live glorious lives, but both light and shadow have their season. So too must they face divinely appointed trials. Rumors in here say about on the street that Rex Lapis was murdered. Now let the truth be revealed. Having been thwarted in his trial, Rex Lapis' soul has recouped the celestial heights. He beseeches the people of the away to grieve not, and to not let their hearts be saddened. Nor are they to believe street-born rumors or indulge in baseless speculation. Paimon needs a translation with the Qixing's announcement said, please. They said that Rex Lapis died because of a divine trial. So that's how they're spinning it. Someone feels off. Why would they suddenly give up looking for the murderer? Not to mention how this excuse sounds like something they just made up on the spot. Could the Qixing already have known that Rix Lapis wasn't dead? But Zhongli said that they neither know nor the Adepti know anything. Did Zhongli tell them in secret after his gnosis changed hands? It's possible. Exactly right. Oh, seems like the rite of parting has been going on for a while now. Let's go have a look. Look, it's Ningguang and Keqing. Are they saying something? Are their speeches over? As said previously, Rix Lapis' soul returning to the heavens is the end of the contract. It is also the end of an era. 3,700 years of contracts burnt and reduced to ash. We, the people of Liyue, were indeed prosperous, but blinded by our prosperity, we forgot that time can be pitiless. The long-unending dream of our Archon walking among us. Now that we have awoken from our dream, we must learn to say farewell. Will you stand with us as we establish our contracts, as we build a new age of prosperity? So concludes the words of Her Eminence, the Qiang Quan. Does Her Eminence, the Yuhang, have anything to add? Eh? Is she looking this way? Traveler. Yikes! She really is looking our way! Is that the traveler who they say defeated the ancient god? So young. The Liyue Qixing always repay their debts. As you have heard, our eyes see far and our reach is long. Name your price. You deserve that much. Whoa! Well, could you help me put up some missing person posters? Rubbing you in was possibly the most masterful move we could have made. I believe that future generations will say so too, when our deeds come up in their review. Why you? Were you just trying to look cool earlier? Or are you really that selfless? If you were looking for someone, you could have told me that in private. The cleanup of the premises, managing the crowds as they exit, making an account of the rite, there is much that remains to be done. I didn't miss anything, did I? Ha! And to think I put my best perfume on before coming here, thinking you'd like it. It seems as if those perfumes really were meant to be offered to Rix Lapis. Well, that's fine. Suffer no rivals in love, they say. And that's 3 gone in one stroke. As for the mortals and Adepti of Liyue, what shape shall our relationship take from now on? Oh, Rix Lapis. Rix Lapis. Now I think about it, if everyone's of the same mind as me, perhaps mementos for Rix Lapis might be the best short-term business opportunity. Mr. Zhongli. Hey, Zhongli! Look at this! Everyone on Liyue is caught up in their emotions, thinking that they'll never see Rix Lapis again. And here you are, looking all relaxed. Why would I not feel more at ease after laying down the burden I have borne for 3,700 years? Right, if the two of you can spare the time, I should treat you a meal at the Jinyue kiosk. Ha! That sounds like big talk, Zhongli. Paimon might have believed you if you were treating us to some third-round knockout. But you'd have to pay out your nose just to stand there inside the Jinyue kiosk. Are you sure you can afford it? You're right, I do like the Mora. But why would Mora select Mora? As a Rix as Mora. I could easily create Mora, but since I've chosen to walk this earth as the mere mortals wrongly, I should abide by the same rules that mortals do. And after being with you, though I still had the nurses in hand, I knew that I must soon retire from my old role as an Archon. So I had to rehearse a little for my new life. Oh, no wonder. Paimon gets in now. You didn't look at the price tags when we were spending because you never had to. But since you weren't used to not being able to make more Mora, as and when you wanted to, you had to try becoming a parasite to society who lives off of other people's credit. No, we were only spending Fatui money. You don't have to say it like that. In a city of commerce, we do not merely exchange money or goods. We also exchange knowledge, memories, foresight, as well as positions, roles, and lives. The Archon Morgs could never experience life as a true mortal Zhongli could, no matter how many times he descended to be with his people. I must thank you for that, Goose. I will treasure the memories I made of Zhongli traveling the streets of Liyue with you. It was a fine journey. That is true, but there is no journey that does not end, no meetings without partings. Paimon thinks that we should make a move and continue our search for the Seven. Fear that continuing our journey may be difficult. The nation that neighbors Liyue by sea in Azuma is presently closed. Closed? Yes, the nation has been closed by order of its deity. The Electro Archon Ball, and just as the people of Liyue prefer to call her Lapis, she too goes by another name among locals in Azuma. Paimon thinks we've heard that one before. Raiden? Is the case, and since Raiden is also the Shogun of Inazuma, people call her Raiden Shogun. The Shogun. That said, though people at the wharf were saying that the situation in Inazuma is very tense, Paimon doesn't remember that always being the case. It wasn't that bad last year. Zhongli, since you're Rex Lapis, shouldn't you know something about what's happening there? Just how did Inazuma become a closed nation? It's because of visions. Visions? When faced with circumstances beyond their control, humans often bemoan their lack of power. If a person shows true strength of will at a desperate time or fateful moment in their life, the gods will look upon them with favor. This is what visions are. Magical foci bestowed upon those who have been acknowledged by the gods. That's how people in Tiamat see it. But starting from last year, the Raiden Shogun began promulgating the Vision Hunt Decree. Vision Hunt Decree? Yes, it was in order to seize all visions within Inazuma's borders, and to inlay them upon the hands of the statue of the omnipresent god. They want to seize visions? But why? Aren't visions blessings from the gods? I should think that, in the Shogun's eyes, it is precisely because they are divine beings. Blessings that they should be under the sole dominion of divinity. Whoa, that's harsh. The Anima god is the god of freedom, and the Geo-Archon is the god of contracts. For her part, the Raiden Shogun is the god of eternity. It seems as though she has finally decided to eliminate any unstable elements that could cause harm to her internal realm. The fact that even I, the oldest of the seven, have now passed away will only strengthen her resolve to pursue eternity. Knowing her, she must have again quoted that adage she is most fond of when proclaiming that decree to her people. 7 ideals for 7 gods, and of these, eternity is nearest unto the heavenly principles. Alright then. Alright, I'm gonna force my throat to do this. We got this game. What about Child? Yeah, what about that? Before the Qixing made their announcement, we listened to a lot of people talking on the way. Most of them put the blame for everything on Child. These are indeed false accusations, but it remains undeniably true that Child did send people to the Jade Chamber to prevent the Adepti and Qixing from defeating the ancient god. I heard that Ningguang is busy milking it for what it's worth on the foreign relations front at the moment, browbeating the envoys of Fatui. How those poor lion diplomats, if it were not for Child's exalted position as a harbinger. I'm certain that they would have shifted all the blame to him and called for his dismissal by now. About the trial. Oh, that was a good one. What, failing a divine trial? How they came up with that excuse, I will never know. That said, the reason why the Chushing were so eager to resolve the incident and stop pursuing the culprit was indeed because they received news in secret that Rex Lapis was not dead. I hinted as much to the Adepti as well. How did I accomplish that, you ask? Have you ever heard of this particularly convenient Adepti art known as gifting dreams and visions? As for the Leeway Chushing, the time of the Adepti has long passed. If even the Leeway Chushing don't want to face that truth, then what future is there for Leeway? Kuching is absolutely right in saying this. Now, though I did love Ningguang's desire for power, believing that this to be a good thing, I thought as a matter of course that she must have been behind the Chushing's plan to take governing power over Leeway from the hands of the gods on Adepti. The original person who brought up the idea of seizing power had been... That's right, Zhongli, now that you don't have your gnosis, what's gonna happen to all the Mora and Teyvat? Since Morax is dead, are they all gonna just disappear? Also, isn't the Golden House the only mint in the entire continent? Will it even continue to work? The Mora present now will not vanish, but the Golden House will indeed have to cease operations for a lengthy period of time, since creating Mora requires the use of a Geo-Archon's power. Ugh! This is terrible! We're about to run out of Mora! The world is coming to an end! Yes, this is indeed a major issue from the financial standpoint. Well, I suppose we'll just have to leave such troublesome matters to the Leeway Chushing to debate. Then, did you at least set some private funds aside for yourself? Private fund? That does sound like a good idea. Ah, it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame that I didn't think of that at the time. Nothing else. Well, I suppose we'll have to find a way to get inside the hallucination. Have patience, I suspect that some serendipity must first come into play. Oh my gosh. I did it! Did I reach level 30? No, but I'm close. Alright. Thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!